Okay, guys, it's time and I'll be starting. Let me share my screen first. So is the screen visible and am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Both?
Yes, sir.
Both loud and clear and visible.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, today's session is the part 8 in the series of finance basics, uh, taking up the topic of presumptive taxation on finance basics. So let's begin. So, as usual, all my presentations will always start with thanking the Lord Almighty, who's given me much more than what I deserve. So, when it comes to finance, the big thanks is due to my dad as well, who has been instrumental in teaching me the clinical part of the finance. This is my brief biodata. You are all aware of it. So, we all have, say, different notions about different things. The point always comes to whether we should opt for the conventional one or the presumptive taxation, as was the question. But now there is a third option as well, the NTR, the new tax regime. I'll be touching those few aspects today. Of course, everything can't be covered, but I'll try to touch all those aspects today. So, the seed of this query or the seed of this session was a query by Dr. Ajay. So, can you guide which is better, presumptive taxation or to go for audit? Depreciation benefits like of new car, machine, equipment are major concern here. This was the topic. Before I delve on what is better and what is not, I'll be giving you a few pointers about certain things. A few of you have already done my balance sheet workshop, so you are very well aware of these things. But even you might find a few things new out here today. So the question now is not the conventional or the balance sheet thing or the presumptive thing. Sorry, it is predominantly in these days the old ITR and the new ITR. So if we segregate this old, it will be again into two parts, conventional or presumptive. So the question was concerning this, but since the new financial year 2021 is on, in this we'll have a third question as well along with it. So before I go further, let me explain you a few things. What exactly is the difference between old tax, new tax, conventional, presumptive? So all of you out there who are self-employed, yes, a few of you are salaried and self-employed. I think only one or two are only salaried, but majority of us are self-employed. So wherever we are self-employed, this thing comes into play, the balance sheet. The balance sheet or the profit and loss statement or the income and expenditure statement or whatever, these are basically two A4 pages and they have to be made whichever system of taxation any self-employed is following. Even if you're salaried plus self-employed, you'll still have to make a balance sheet. So what exactly is balance sheet? The balance sheet, this is the first half of the first page. The second half is like this. So let me go back again. So on the right side, there is an income section, the total annual income. You might see a decimal in this figure. In this, it is courtesy the say swipe machine income sometimes have we add. So that is why it is in decimal. Otherwise, we never receive such kind of amount in our clinics. We always have a round figure usually. On the left side, it is an expenditure account. Medicine, dental items, lab charges, rental charges, water sewerage, municipal taxes, electricity charges, bank charges, telephone expenses, assistant salary, IDA subscription, miscellaneous expenses, printing, enhancement of knowledge via CD, website development, etc., etc. There can be less categories than these. There can be some more categories in this. So this is kind of an expenditure. A first total is made out here. The next is the depreciation of the fixed assets, the point on which the question was based. As I said, a few of you have done my balance sheet workshop, so you are aware of how to make this balance sheet as well as how to calculate depreciation. So once we arrive at a figure of depreciation, how we arrive at, I'll let you know in my further slides. So we add these two. The depreciation figure is 73,000. So when we add 3.28 lakhs and 73,000, it comes out to 4 lakh 2,000 roughly. So whatever income you have, if you consider deducting this without this 675 minus 402 roughly would be 273, 2 lakh 73,000. So if you go by the conventional part, your actual income minus expenditure is 275. Of course, we added the interest income out here also. So the total comes out to 324. But just talking of the clinic profit wise, 675 minus 402. The 675 minus 402, the direct expenses is 275, 273, sorry. So if we talk of the presumptive way, if we half this, it comes to 3 lakh 37,000. So what is the shortfall? What shortfall is roughly 65,000, 337 minus 273. Now you need to understand that presumptive taxation was, why was it made? It was made for the purpose of easing the documentation for professionals. It is not a regime that where you have to claim 50% only. You can claim more than 50% as well. If you see, you are going to make a balance sheet in any case, whichever system of taxation you are following, presumptive, conventional, new tax, you will still make these 2 pages. That is why I keep on taking workshop every 3 to 4 months on this topic. So you need to make this balance sheet. You need to know the art of making this. So once you know you have to make this, then the onus lies on you, whether you want to go in for presumptive or conventional. If you say मेरे को तो इसमें profit ज़्यादा, मेरे को expense ज़्यादा है, तो my profit is 275, so why shouldn't I claim in that ways? The thing is, presumptive does not say that you can't claim a higher profit. Let's talk of a different scenario. Let's suppose the professional income is 7 lakhs and expenses are 2 lakhs. Uh, Kindly mute yourself, please, whoever's audio is on. So let's presume your professional income is 7 lakhs and your expenses are 2 lakhs. So you will say my profit is 5 lakhs. If I go presumptive wise, I get to pay tax on 3.5 lakhs, half of 7. In presumptive taxation, it is the income is totally halved. Everything of this is assumed as 50% without any documentation, without any bills being needed. I'll come to that as well. So it's not that you can't claim a higher profit in presumptive. You can pay higher tax and you can claim higher profit also. It is only in a reverse scenario that you have to go in for an audit. When you claim that my profit is less than 50% and I still want to go the presumptive way, then you have to go in for audit. So this is the second part, the lower portion of the first page only. This was this till depreciation and surplus and interest income. Go to the bottom of the same page. It has a capital account. The items which are not concerned with taxation, you receive and you go from that. Taxation means you don't pay tax on those. You receive something, NSE, matured principal, not the interest. Dividends, earlier it used to be free, now it will be taxable as well. Then your profit from here. So this is your capital account. Again, making capital account is a different day story altogether. What I mean to say is how you actually make these, say, decipher these figures. So whatever profit you claim, this is the profit we arrived at. The total figure 324. So that is carried forward to your income and expenditure account or the net profit, as I mentioned here. So whatever you mentioned, that is entered overhead. If you have a higher profit here, you can automatically make your capital account rich. You can make it profound. You can make it wealthier. You can make your book strong. Now go to the second page, which is actually a balance sheet page, which has balance sheet means the asset and the liability account. The left side has liabilities. And what are the liabilities? this figure carried forward from here to here. Then assets, your fixed deposits, your saving banks, your land and building, medical equipments of the clinic, furniture and fixture. This was the question that, again, this is the first part of the second page. And if we go down, just go back, medical equipment, furniture and fixture, the same figure continued. So this is the second part of the A4 page. This is the way we calculate depreciation. Now, what exactly is a depreciation? You need to understand that part as well. So depreciation is actually applied on your fixed, say, assets. Like any equipment you buy, any equipment is not a consumable. It is supposed to have a life. Life can be 5, 7, 8, 10 years, whatever. But according to its say capacity, according to its structure, according to its life, it has been accorded a certain percentage of depreciation. Or if I speak in a common man language, घिसने की cost, the wear and tear value. Remember, I'll go back again. See, there is no column here. Let's suppose you bought an apex locator. It is a medical or a dental equipment. Let's suppose you bought new blinds in your clinic. Again, those will not find a mention over here. They will find a mention in this figure, 73,000. How we arrive at this figure? Through these, adding up these. We add a portion of its cost in our expenses. This depreciation is actually a portion of the use of those things. So such assets are capitalized and are not directly charged to expenses. लोग बोलते हैं ना मैं आज 10 लाख का आरबीजी खरीद लूं वो या सॉरी माइक्रोस्कोप खरीद लूं तो will I be able to add that? No. If you are bought in the first half of the year before 3rd of October, then only 15% of that, which would be 1.5 lakh, would be chargeable to your expense side and not the whole 10 lakhs. See, add purchased new. You can add 10 lakhs. Of course, this is not a computer equipment, but just giving an example. You can add 10 lakh over here. Whatever is the depreciation, that goes to the expenditure side. Just try to understand why depreciation is very important. So every year, a small portion of its cost is expensed and allowed to be reduced from your income because it is an asset. It is not a consumable. So that is why depreciation carries actual importance. So there are different slabs, 5, 10, 15, 40, 60. So all medical and dental equipment, unless specified, have a written down value of 15%. Furniture and fixtures and fittings, 10%. That will include your office furniture, that will include your blinds, curtains, whatever. Office table, whatever kind of furniture fixtures are there. Then electrical fixtures include all your switches, fittings, new fans, new tubes, even your glow signs, your neo sign boards. They're all in your electrical fixtures. Dental chair is though an electrical fixture, but it is counted in the dental equipment, not in the electrical part. Then computer and laptop used to be 60. Computer equipment now they have a 40%. Land and building 5%. So these are the various figures. Again, when we do a full workshop, we calculate all these things. So as I mentioned, if the equipment is bought after 3rd October, you get half of that depreciation for that year. Let's suppose you bought, I gave you an example of a microscope of 10 lakhs. Let's suppose you were due to get 1.5 lakh depreciation, as I mentioned. But let's suppose you bought it in December in Exporent in Delhi for same amount. You will be allowed 7.5% since you bought after 3rd October. 3rd October का कोई logic नहीं है. The 3rd October is usually the 185th day of the year from April to March. So the logic for depreciation is less than 180 days remaining. So you put a half depreciation for that year. So for that year, you will get a depreciation of 75,000 only on 10 lakhs. Of course, the remaining capital the next year, whatever amount is left, 9,25,000. That next year you will get again 15% on 9.25, not on 10 lakhs, because that portion is deducted. I hope you're getting me. So for a leap year, the cutoff is 4th October because it has 366 days. So it is 1 day is added. Even if you buy on 31st of March, which is the last day of the year, you will still be allowed 50% depreciation. Microscope, let's suppose you bought it on say 31st March, you will still get 75,000 depreciation for that year, presuming it is for 10 lakh and presuming you're getting 15% on that. So just an example here, if this is the medical equipment old, bought new, you can calculate it separately also, add new also. This is done at 15%. So 294,565 at 15% is 44,184. 6,540 at 15% is 981. You add these two. The commonest rule in bottom line rule in depreciation is you have to round it off. If it is above 50, you round it off to the next figure. If less than 50, to the other figure. So it is 0.75. So answer would be 45166 for medical equipment only. So this is the figure. This is one figure out of those at 73,000. Presuming that your total depreciation is 73,000. So this is the way you calculate for different ways. 15 furniture and fixture, old, new. There might be sometimes an entry where you don't buy anything in that year. In that, what is the existing figure will be taken as 1580, 15811. You add these and you do 1891.2. If it is 0.2, you round it off to the nearest number, 1891. So similarly, computer equipment and laptop, this is the figure we arrive at 9244, 13600. So electrical assets 9192. So once you have figures of all, this is depreciation, you add up this and then you arrive at a total depreciation cost. In that balance sheet, the figure was 73,000. In this numerical, the calculation is 79,000. So out of all your equipment, this is your wear and tear cost of the year of all your equipment. So again, this is one cost you need to remember. This is a silent hidden cost. Some things will get used up in few years. You will need to buy them again, and the patient has to pay for this also. When we calculate cost, that is the reason I mentioned that you need to mention 16 types of cost. I took a session last year as well for that all. There are actually 28, 27 kind of costs, but directly applicable to us are 16 type of cost. So this is one type of cost, which is as I said before also, this is the Gisne ki value or the wear and tear cost of that. So let's come back to the balance sheet once again, just to tell you the first page, income and expenditure account, and below is the capital account. You only add a portion of depreciation. So this figure will assume quite a big importance if you are buying heavy equipment or investing in heavy equipment in that sense. Maybe you are renovating your clinic, you got new furniture also, you got new switches also, maybe you got a new chair as well. You added apex locator also, you added a microscope also. So your say uh, depreciation amount would be bigger. What would that mean? If your depreciation is bigger, that means depreciation is after all an expense only. So if it is an expense, you add it to the total expenses, your net expenses would be higher. So that means your net profit would be lower because you have spent everything on that. So remember, you need to calculate. So that is where the question comes. If I go the conventional way, I can claim a lower profit. uh, uh, yes, I am actually having a lower profit. I earn 10 lakhs, but my expenses are 8 lakhs. I just have 2 lakhs of profit. But if I go the presumptive way, I actually have, say, a profit of 5 lakhs. So who will cover for that 3 lakh shortfall? So that is the reason we need to understand. Again, the balance sheet, the asset and liability account, need to do that. We all need to be aware of how to do this. That is the reason I always insist on doing a, say, balance sheet workshop, because this is the way you actually learn these things. Again, if you are not aware of your own figures and numbers, it is futile doing your business. Just सारा दिन clinic में घुस के patient के सिर खपा के, it is not. You should be able to pick and choose your work after a few years of time. We all have to. We all have to give time to certain things. जो इतना हम खिलारा डाल लेते हैं, that all has to be consolidated at some point of time. You can't keep on working at the same pace. You won't have the same agility. You won't have the same reflexes. Everything will say decrease with time. The only thing is you need to understand that and accept that and move on in that direction. Now, the big game changer, which is there since 2016-17. What is going on 2021? So imagine it is there since almost 4-5 years now. So sorry, it is important for all the dentists and all professionals. What exactly it is? There was a section for traders by the name of 44 AD. It said that if the traders want to say escape any paperwork, they can pay total 8% tax on their gross turnover. And if they follow the digital route, they are given say 25% off, means they can pay tax at 6% if they're going the digital route. So Mr. Arun Jaitley, late Mr. Arun Jaitley, the ex-finance minister of India, uh, he actually modified that section of 44 AD in the Income Tax Act and brought in a new section for professionals, which had a name 44 ADA or the presumptive income. What does it say? It says that 50% of your total receipt will be taken as expense. All that you had on the expense side, you won't need bills for that. You don't need to maintain books for that. And you can say get rid of your CA as well. Because when we do the balance sheet, we do the IT filing also teaching in that. So it's just a very simplified. The simplest ITR return used to be ITR 1. I'll show you that also. So now the simplest ITR return is ITR 4, which is for the presumptive section, say applies to presumptive section. Now you only get 50% on your expenses. Rest everything stays the same. Once you arrive at a net income, you can claim your deductions like before, since it is a part of old tax regime only. So the biggest advantage is you get a big headache relieved, that you don't need to maintain your books. You don't need to say keep your accounts in that sense. So the only thing you need to maintain is, what was another query by someone? Is there any specific format to maintain accounts for doctors, clinic, hospital in reference to income tax? I've discussed that many times before. The Form 3C. This is required only. 44 ADA mandates you just need to maintain the source of input, or the source of income, and this can be in manual mode also. I prefer the digital mode, so this can be in digital mode also. The register D is in the manual format, form number 3C is in the E format or the digital format. So this is the way you actually need to maintain the source of income. Bills or no bills doesn't make any difference. Just keep an account of how much you have spent, because still you will need to make a balance sheet. Then question is audit. This was the question by Dr. Ajay also. Why and when and how is the audit needed? The first thing is presumptive taxation is available from 2.5 lakhs, the basic limit, to 50 lakhs. If your gross receipts are between 2.5, gross income or gross collection is from 2.5 to 50 lakhs, you can opt for presumptive taxation. But under certain conditions, this has been mentioned in the 44 ADA section as well. If your gross receipts exceed 50, but your profit is lower than 50%, you need to go in for the audit. For example, I gave you uh, that presumptive taxation part, that I have a 10 lakh income and I have say 8 lakh of expenses. I want to opt for presumptive taxation. Then you have no other criterias which can say negate you filing of ITR 4. If you have capital gains, if you have gains from property, mutual fund, shares, then you need to file ITR 3 in any case. So the question eliminates over there. But if you are filing ITR 4, you have a higher, then you go in for the audit. Audit actually is mandatory in those cases where your profit is lower than 50%. You want to claim a lower net taxable income. You need to understand that. So as I mentioned, this was taken up from 44 AD, a section for traders or businessmen. they needed to, with less than 2 crores, they needed to file a tax on 8%. If digitally they can file on 6% as well. I'll give you an example of dentist in Delhi. Just a fictitious example. I give it the same example in workshops sometimes, but now this has changed in my workshop because 2016-17 is different. So she earned an income of, she's an endodontist, works as a consultant in many clinics. She earned an income of 18 lakhs. And what is the scenario if she opts for the conventional part, if she opts for the presumptive part? So if we are talking in the presumptive way, or in the normal way, sorry, without in the conventional way. If we take total income at 18 lakhs, expenses 6 lakhs, as I showed you in the list: travel and transport expense, property tax, water sewerage, electric expense, conferences, salary, assistant salary, whatever. It all boils down to 6 lakhs. So total taxable income is 12 lakhs. If she is going the presumptive way, the same income is presumed at 50%. 18 ka half, 2. 18 divided by 2, 9 lakhs. So just if we go by the tax calculation part, 12 lakhs, the total figure comes out. Of course, the calculation might not be clear to many of you, although I've explained it many a time, but those who have done it, this is the figure we arrive at. 1,72,500 if we go by the conventional or without presumptive taxation. If we go the presumptive taxation way, where our taxable income was 18 divided by 2, 9 lakhs, we arrive at a total tax of 92,500. So this is one of the first benefits. Usually you will have to pay lesser tax with presumptive taxation. So again, you can claim your normal deductions. I haven't claimed here. Just for this ease of simplicity, I've just taken up the expense part only to calculate it. In this scenario, the first benefit is that you have to pay lesser amount as taxes. In this case, obviously, there would be no investments, no depreciation, no, or say no investments on clinic, I mean to say. So what are the advantages of this system if we talk in a way? Number one, it is a simplified system. Number two, there are no bills needed at all. No need to maintain your books of accounts as well under section 44A. 44A double A is actually for maintaining of books of accounts. So no requirement of having accounts audited if gross sale is up to 50 lakhs. I have people contacting me, dentists of course, contacting me where their income has been say about 40 lakhs. Their expenses have been 22 lakhs, or sorry, 18 lakhs, means the profit is more than 50%. Still they have gone for audit. Why their CA does it is the answer should be clear to you by now. So then the biggest advantage, no 4 installments of advanced tax and presumptive taxation. Only one installment, and that too on the 350th day of the year before 15th March. The year is from April to 31st March. So you can be say calculating almost the accurate amount so that you don't have to pay any penalties under 234 ABC section. And of course, lesser taxes to be paid. And then lastly, no need of CA. So there are two lesser headaches. One is non-maintenance of books of accounts, and second is not needing your CA. You all know it. So, on a lighter note, years ago, an astrologer told me you will have so much you will not know where to keep. You will be sharing and sharing, and yet more will come to you. I thought he said about money, it will never end. But now I realize that he told me about WhatsApp messages. We all get forwards of many kinds, and one of such forward I'll share with you, which is actually associated with the myths of 44 AD. So there are a few forwards which says the number one, IT return filing is around the corner. So my CA contacted me or I met him. His advice to me was you have two options: show 50% of your gross collection as income and tax, or if you're showing less than 50%, you have to go for audit irrespective of amount of collection. So whatever system you follow this year, you have to continue for 5 years. If your gross collection is above 20 lakhs, you have to go for GST number and all. So sorry. CA fees are less for just filing return with 50 lakhs income and much more for audit. According to him, for a small clinic, it will be better to show 50% and pay tax on that. This 50% from for income from clinic from other sources is different. So I think it's time to hike our charges as even government is expecting us to make 50% profit. Please consult your own CA for better plan. So these were a few myths. I'll be debunking all these myths one by one. So number one was you have two options. Show 50% of your gross collection as income, and if you're showing less than 50%, you have to go for audit, irrespective of amount of collection. So the thing is, if you want a simplified life and you don't indulge in any of the factors which mandate filing of ITR 3, I'll be discussing those factors as well. Then make your life simple. I have adopted this approach in almost all spheres of my life. And for the first year, we were skeptical about this, me and my dad, 2016-17, whether we should file it or not. But then when we went in for it, we realized that this is one of the, say, lotteries we have come across, and we should never leave this unless or until I have a capital gains coming or arising where I have to mandatorily file ITR 3. So you obviously can show or claim higher profit, but for lower, you will have to go for audit, of course, if you want to claim that I have higher expenses this year, but you need to understand this. Then whatever system you follow this year, you have to continue for 5 years. This is incorrect because this section, this law, this ruling is for traders only, which applies to 44 AD, from where this section has originated. 44 ADA, you can jump in, jump out. Jump in, jump out means if you buy a heavy equipment like a microscope or something, or a CBCT or a OPG, then you want to claim a depreciation, or say higher depreciation. You need to understand again, if you are not aware only of the numbers, what will it add? Even a 10 lakh depreciation, if bought in the first half, will only add 1.5 lakh of your expenses. Just 1.5 lakh. So it doesn't make a huge difference overall, especially if it is less than 10 lakh, then amount would be even lesser. So you need to realize those things that still following the conventional system would be better for you. Yes, of course, if an audit is to be conducted, then you need to understand that it again relieves you of your headache. It is the CS job, it's not your job. So still, if you want to claim that I want to claim in depreciation this year and maybe next year I will not, you can jump in and jump out of conventional and the presumptive system any year. Unlike traders who have a lock-in of 5 years. Your CAs might be confusing you for this as well. It's not. The lock-in is not for the professionals. Correct me, please, if I'm wrong. So if your gross collection is above 20 lakhs, you have to go for GST number and all. The first thing is that 20 lakhs has been now raised to 40 lakhs. So healthcare is firstly exempted from GST. But if you are offering any cosmetic services and those services itself cross 40 lakhs in a year, which is huge, which would mean roughly 3.5 lakhs plus per month only from cosmetic services, then maybe you need to go in for a GST, which is a rare thing in Indian scenario, of course, I will say. So you don't need a GST number because healthcare is exempted from GST. You cannot claim any input credit in on any of the equipments you spend or say pay GST on, because healthcare is exempted. On the same side, you don't issue any patient a bill with GST. It will be discarded and you can be penalized also, because healthcare does not have any percentage allocated to GST. So exemption of that is given. There is a, say, exemption list by the Government of India, which is applied to healthcare services, clinical establishment, authorized medical or dental practitioner, and paramedics. So cosmetic dentistry, again, as I said, this has been now changed to 40 lakhs. So read the figure of 20 as 40 in the slide. So if you're running an academy or organizing courses, or maybe you're having cosmetic income, or maybe you're having a drugstore as well, where income crosses this amount of 40 lakhs, then you need to apply for a GST number. Special category states, there are 11 in number. The Northeast states, Himachal, J&K, and Uttarakhand. So these are the states where the limit is now 20 instead of 10 lakh. So where the services enhancement, the GST is applicable at 18%. So healthcare are otherwise taxed at nil rate. Need to understand. So CA fees are less for just filing return with 50% income and much more for audit. Of course, for a presumptive taxation, the CA hardly needs to do anything except prepare your balance sheet, for which you give them the figures. So you need to realize that this is the ball in your court. This is the control you can have. So you can easily fill out your IT return, just make the balance sheets, learn to make a balance sheet, and you can actually, obviously, CA is going to charge for every service he renders, but he actually, for audit, he'll charge more, of course. We get rid from maintenance of books. That is the biggest headache, because audit, you'll need to maintain a lot of things, and he'll charge you for those services as well. Otherwise, 44 ADA ITR 4 is so simple that it will be, and whichever columns have to be filled apart from your KYC. KYC means your name, address, and all those things. Whichever columns have to be filled, those are from your balance sheet only. So if you learn to make a balance sheet, which is again not a difficult thing, you can actually get a control over your finances in a better way. And then the question you will ask to yourself, if I add some expenses out here, if I'm investing in this equipment, firstly, when should I buy? For before 3rd October, after 3rd October? Obviously has to be in digital mode only, above 10,000. So if I buy, this is my old balance sheet. Let's presume the figure is the same for this year as well. I'm talking of the normal times, not the COVID times. If I add my expenses or depreciation, if let's suppose my depreciation increases here, what will be my profit? What will be the effect on my capital account? What will be effect on my bank balance? Similar things you can calculate yourself. You can play with your numbers yourself. And once you play them with them, you get a hang of them that yes, this is the way, this is the approach I have a better control over, or I have a better this thing. When I am inexperienced about to buy something, I am at a disadvantage that if I am buying something, I have to buy from expert in Delhi, which is the biggest expert, usually in December. So it is just short of 3 months of the financial year. So I'm at a disadvantage that I can't claim a higher depreciation. But then, as I told you, these are a few things which you need to understand that you can have. Beta generator chala do, please. So sorry, I had a power cut. Never mind. We'll continue. So you need to understand these things. So according to him, for a small clinic, it will be better to show 50% and pay tax on that. So this might be a correct. Uh, Usually, a small clinic has less investment on materials, lesser stock, inventory, so their expenses will be less. But it has no relation to a small clinic or big clinic in that sense, because I believe you should be claiming a higher profit whenever you get a chance to arrive at a figure. So again, this is from your clinic income only, not from your income from other sources. You might be having 10 lakhs as your interest income from banks. Your main concern is your professional income only in presumptive taxation. So you only the professional income will be halved and not your other income. As I showed you in the example of balance sheet, I was just having the top figure of 675 and not the bottom figure of interest from income. If you remember the balance sheet and if you have watched the session from the beginning. So remember that 50% which is taken as your expenses will include your depreciation part as well. So you can't claim depreciation separately. Once you forego your expenses, forego your say expenses part in 50%, you forego your depreciation as well. So it is up to you who will decide that which way you are getting benefit. So I always say if there is hardly to choose between the two numbers, then you should opt. The problem comes we are not showing our actual income. That is the reason we come to this kind of a question. So what exactly is a tax audit and when it needs to be done? In any case, following the conventional system or the presumptive system, tax audit is something you need to do, you need to get done if your professional gross collection is exceeding 50 lakhs, or if you're a business owner with an annual revenue of over 2 crores. And the third scenario, you declare your income below the percentage, and that income, say, is less than 2.5 lakhs, the basic percentage. In that case, also, you shown your income, say, 4 lakh 90,000, let's suppose. You taken 50% of expenses, uh, 245, and your net taxable income is 245. So you need to go in for audit in that case also. So remember, these are the three scenarios. So an investment in knowledge will always pay you the best interest. So get literate and get knowledgeable in this sense. So these are the ITRs, different ITRs which are available for professionals. For professionals or for single individuals, ITR 1, 2, 3, 4 are there. So 1 to 2 are for salaried. 4 is only for self-employed. 3 is for mixed breed. Mixed, not breeding exactly. 3 is for who are working in colleges or say hospitals in morning and having clinics in the evening, or I mean, they are deriving two sets of income. So they need to file in for ITR 3. And now ITR 3 will include if you're having more than one house, if you're having capital gains as well. So you need to file ITR 3. So any individual who is having income, rental income, yes, it is to be added from one source. But if you are having income from rental income from two houses, you go to ITR 3. If you are having capital gains, you indulge in frequent, say, sale and purchase of shares and mutual funds. Uh, then you have gains associated, you go to ITR 3. So if you're just investing and not redeeming, of course, investing in mutual funds, investing in shares, not redeeming them, you're not having any gains from selling of those, you're not having any income other than house, you're having a say income of less than 50 lakhs in a year, that would mean 4 lakh 16,000 roughly per month, you can easily file ITR for. And those who have done the balance sheet workshop, they know it that ITR 4 is one of the simplest. ITR 1 used to be simplest. It was known as Sahaj. This is known as uh, this is known as Saral. This was known as Saral. ITR 4 is, sorry, known as Shugam. Now it is one of the simplest ITR returns. So these are the various sections where you file ITR 1, 2, 3, 4. So total income up to 50 lakhs, ITR 4. If above 50, you can't file actually ITR 4. Then salary pension, even then some show it as a compounded income. Only one house, ITR 4. More than one house, you can't file ITR 4. Capital gains, even income loss, even if you sold it at a lesser percentage and you have a loss, then also not ITR 4. Interest income, dividend income, all those sections, then uh, sections, these are the list where actual ITR 4 is allowed, or otherwise you have to go in for the ITR 3 part. ITR 3 is a slightly complex return, and of course 35, 36 pages. So even I haven't filed it since the past 5 years. I don't need to. So this is again the continued portion where you can actually income from business profession ITR 4 uh, under 44 ADA. For other sources outside India, wherever you have anything other than your this thing which is not belonging to your country, you file the ITR 3 for the self-employed people. So salad will always creep. This is a slide which I commonly show. So you still have the question of the old tax and the new tax. People can claim under 80C 1.5 lakh. This includes huge number of options available. Then savings bank interest 10,000. They'll get a 50,000 for standard deduction, 25 for medical insurance, 50,000 option for parents if they're above 60, 50,000 under NPS and post office single or joint account on the savings account only. So roughly 2,92,000 of exemptions without counting this 50,000. The same is for salaried. The only thing is they don't get the 50,000 standard deduction. So even they have 242 exemptions. The problem is this only. 70% of people who file their returns do not invest fully under Section 80C. 80C means only they don't invest under 1,50,000 as well. So that is the reason the government came out with the new tax regime. The bottom line would always be if you earn well, you have to pay good tax and show more in white. The stronger you make your capital account, that'll be good for you. Make that white money grow more for you because if it is lying unused, it'll be black, dead, and blocked. So the choice would be yours. So learn to say invest and forget. It can actually compound. Now, the problem is that the question doesn't end here. The confusion would be still there. Now, I am sure that I am following the old tax regime, but now should I old tax and I am following the presumptive. Now, should I give the new tax regime a try where I can forego my deductions? This is the slabs which are available at the earlier 5 to 10 was 20%, and above 10 it was 30%. Now it has been broken down and made slightly more confusing. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So this has been changed now. Should I go about that part? What is the ideal scenario in this? So old may still be gold. For example, for an income of 7,25,000, I've given say illustration here, courtesy money control. So deductions might be if they're in the range of 2,02,000. I gave you a list of 2,42,000 even for the self-employed. So I've taken on the lower side. So net taxable income and the tax you'll be paying is 17,680. For the same income, if you forego your deductions, you'll have different slabs, but you still would be paying 36,400. So even with the illustration of 10 lakhs, same deductions, you will actually pay 74,000 tax, and here you'll be paying 78,000 tax. So if you are opting for deductions every year and in a good number or a reasonable number, or at least fulfilling the tax saving part, you need to stick to the old tax regime and not the new tax regime. Of course, my workshops, whenever they happen in the offline mode this year, they'll have a good detailing about the new tax regime as well. And a few portions will go out of those presentation because those things are not relevant now. Finance is a very dynamic thing which keeps on evolving, and I have to keep changing my presentation every time the budget comes in India. So the carry home gyan for today is increase your capital even if it comes at the cost of paying extra tax. Follow 44 ADA, you can claim higher profit as well, but it actually gives you a shot at sometimes we say expense come karne ka fayda. So reducing expenses should not be the only aim. Reducing headache definitely should be. We all have so many problems around us. If we have two problems less, there's nothing like it. So if when you're making balance sheet and willing to claim actual profit, choosing ITR 3 over 4 is already a huge mistake. बैलेंस शीट बनानी ही बनानी है तो फिर सिर्फ वो चक्कर में आप ITR 3 बना रहे हो कि मेरे को हायर प्रॉफिट या एक्चुअल प्रॉफिट लेना है मेरे लोअर एक्सपेंसेस है तो why do you want to go that way? You need to understand that. So the game rules changed long ago. So if you're still thinking, you might be left behind. So you have to take a call on whatever system you have to follow. I plan to file my ITR in April this year only. I won't be going till July this year because my balance sheet, when I filed my ITR, this time I filed very late, almost on the last day only, 10th of January. It was the last day at 1 p.m. Of course, I had my refund on 13 January in the night on the Lodi day itself. And the return was processed on 14 Jan as well in 3 to 4 days under the Jhatpat scheme, which was launched on 22nd of December 2020 only. So it was a fast processing. But when I say was making the balance sheet of that, I made the balance sheet for this year as well. So I just I'm just adding the inputs side by side almost on a weekly basis. Every Sunday I add the figures in that. So my balance sheet is almost close to getting ready. I'm already having an idea what is there. I wouldn't be obviously I didn't have any loss by filing late. I was still short of filing well within time. But then you need to understand that the call has to be taken by you. So thank you so much for your patient hearing, and I hope I was in time. Yes, exactly 50 minutes. So you know my YouTube channel. Yes, not been able to post videos, but would be starting from tomorrow onwards, surely. So my social media presence, you all are aware of it. So you can contact me. You want to read, there are a lot of things available on my website as well. Do send me a feedback in the group. I'll welcome any sort of that. Thank you, and I stop the presentation for the queries, if any, from your end. Yes, Dr. Ajay.
What is the procedure to check the ITR? Once we have filed, then how can we check it is processed or refund is generated, or how come we know the full process, sir?
You get a message for that, you get a mail for that. It is actually reflected in your online, say, PAN account as well, where you have
Okay.
a income tax login,
Okay.
income tax e-filing India website.
Okay.
Normally the CAs have the control of that.
Yes,
Get
sir.
a hold of your, say, password from them. Login is your PAN number, and
Okay.
get a hold from them and check it out.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
सर आपने वो एंडोडोंटिस्ट का वो एग्जांपल दिया था कि 18 लाख का है, फिर उनका एक्चुअल और नेट बहुत सारी जगह पे देखा हुआ था कि 18 लाख का है, फिर उनका एक्चुअल प्रॉफिट 3 लाख मतलब 15 लाख पे भरना होता है, और एडीए का बेनिफिट ये है कि उनका टैक्स लायबिलिटी जो होता है वो कम रहता है, तो मतलब
That is one of the first advantages.
ओके सर.
There are 5-6 advantages, as I told.
ओके.
So even if you want to claim a higher profit, you can go in. There is no
Okay.
bar in claiming a
नो.
higher.
ओके.
So the only way to increase your say, capital account is by paying tax.
Okay.
You can have white only that way, or by
Sorry.
via gift.
In this case also, if we have the 3 lakhs of expenses and 15 lakh of profit, but we are claiming halfway, means 9 lakh profit.
You can do so. You can do so.
Okay. Then
Again,
also
your capital account would be decreasing.
okay, so we cannot show the balance in bank to the capital account.
You have
Okay,
to
sir.
still pay tax on that. You
Okay,
can't
sir.
actually carry forward a huge amount. It was
Okay.
12 and 6 lakh, not 3 and 15.
Okay, sir.
It was 12 and 6 in that example.
12 and
But
6, sir.
you can go that way.
Okay.
Once the money is in your account,
Yes.
you need to understand that that is your income already.
Okay, sir.
So even 4480 or not, that becomes your gross receipt.
Okay, sir.
So the gross receipt is to be halved if you want to.
Okay.
Most of the established clinics would have expenses in the range of 45 to 55%.
Yes, sir.
Most of the clinics. So if you have 45, there is no harm in going for that over, say, for 5%. Show higher
Okay.
profit. If you have more expenses, 55%, even then I will advise go for 50%, because
Okay.
it saves you a lot of headache.
Yes.
Yeah. Any more queries? PCPS and NPS applicable to salaried person? No, NPS is applicable to everyone. It is not, NPS is under 80 CCD 1B. It is applicable to both self-employed and NPS and the salaried. In these days, the government has stopped the PF kind of a thing in most of the government entities. They actually mandate opening a NPS-E or the NPS employee version of the NPS, and they actually want it that the portion of contribution should go from the employee as well. Of course, the employer contribution has to be there from the government end, but it should not be only the employee base. Yeah. I hope you get an idea of your query about
Yes,
audit.
sir. Sir.
Any more
I'm
queries? Yeah.
No, sir, I'm very clear that if we want to, if we select the audit way, that will create a lots of mess and burden. So it's better to be in
Absolutely.
4480,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
because as you have shown that calculation even if we are purchasing the instrument of 10 lakh or a car of 10 lakh, we will get 1.5 lakh only. So it's better to go for 44 ADS. That is very clear.
Sir,
Yeah.
on the same note that the doctor has just said, according to him, presumptive is better. Then again, that can be done only if the net profit is 50 lakhs, net earning is 50 lakhs.
Gross.
Beyond 50 lakhs, we have no option. We have to go in for an audit.
See, the thing is, it is a confusing section by 44 ADA part himself. On one hand, they say if your income, if your gross income, not your net, if your gross collection falls between 2.5 to 50 lakhs, the range is huge, 47.5, then you can opt for presumptive taxation. On the second side, in the same audit note, they say if your income crosses 50 lakhs, you have to compulsorily go in for audit. So they are actually confusing. So in a way, if you're going for audit, you can still say go for presumptive taxation by their wordings. But in actual, if you're going for audit, should be filing ITR 3 only, and you should be showing the actual profit and not the presumptive profit. That is what I believe.
Thank you, sir.
Any more queries, or we call it a day?
So that's
Good evening, sir. Dr. Viral
Good
here.
evening, sir.
Hello.
जी sir, बोलिए.
हाँ जी, sir. In which case we supposed to go for a private limited company or LLP?
Sorry, didn't get you.
When we should go for an private limited or limited liability partnership?
So LLP is done where actually we have some other issues other than the income part. Usually, say one of the spouse is working well, he earns well. He doesn't want to say forego his profits. On the other hand, the land belongs to, or say the clinic belongs to the wife or the wife's father. So in those cases, there is a scenario where the wife doesn't want to be shown as an employee, and the husband doesn't want to be shown as an employee either. So then they want to share equal profits as well. I'm telling you actual stories of a few people. So in those cases, they opt for a LLP, limited liability partnership, where both of them are equal. But then that changes the dynamics, and you have to go in for ITR 5 because you're registered as a company. That actually complicates the matters a bit more rather than simplifying. So this session was all about actually simplifying things. So getting rid of, unless you have, say, house income, more than one house income, you have more than, say, 50 lakhs of income, you have more than, say, uh, gains or loss, then you need to file other than year 4. But all of us, majority of us, fall in that bracket of 2.5 to 50, majority of us. So we should think of that case. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, then we call it a day. Thank you so much for being patient listeners. Next week, I'll just check out how many eyes and nose we have. But next week, it might not be a Friday, because Friday I have a prior commitment. It might be a Thursday next week. But beyond that, we'll see what we need to do. Of course, the next week, the topic would be practice management only or medical legal, whichever is there. It will be alternate, of course. It will be never finance in a heavy dose. So either MLE or the practice management part. Thank you so much. Please do post your feedback in the group.
Thank you, sir.
See you
Thanks a
next
lot.
week. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.